the call. Okay, we're gonna start off with BTC. This is a daily chart on BTC. Make no mistake, we're bullish right now. I mean, I don't have to. You don't have to be on this call to understand that we're bullish in Bitcoin. Okay. The what's funny for me is well, not funny, but like what I like to see is this trend line holding. After we had this drop, all of crypto Twitter was saying, "Oh, it looks like COVID. It looks like this. Looks like this. This is going to happen." Yeah, they were right. Came down, then it started grinding its way back up. It came down, and it's grinding its way back up. They thought this dump was going to happen afterwards. No, I don't think so. The buyers are here, and we're bullish, obviously. Um, you guys got to understand though that um, there's less and less people on BitMEX, and there's less and less sellers on less and less Bitcoin sitting on exchanges right now. I'll share the chart soon, but there's less and less Bitcoin on exchanges, and that means that there's going to be less and less sellers on the spot market, and eventually, we can't really get these moves anymore like this to the downside, in my opinion, because there's no one left to liquidate. I mean, now we could have like the OI on that pump there. This is the all-time squeeze, $40 million going. This is in a 1 minute candle. I haven't seen this in a long time. On the upside, we haven't seen it in a long time. An upside move like that, with that much volume in a 1 minute candle, we haven't seen that. And it's just moving to the upside. I'm looking to buy this whole area here, okay, or a retest here. So I want to buy this whole area here. I want to buy all this, okay, or I want to buy something like this. But make no mistake, I think by the at least end of the year we should be at least 13K. And I think, like I said, this is just purely bullish. And if you look at the 1 hour chart, okay, like if you shorted once since here, okay, like if you entered a short since here, you've never gotten an exit, and it's like it's programmed, right? No exit. No, it's the same thing every time. This is the same thing over and over, right? Like, tell me this doesn't look like identical. It's like it doesn't even pay to be in a short right now. What's the point? Like, you're better off buying the dips because look, if you shorted the exact top 958, what was your exit? 818. Like that's nothing. Like if you didn't short the exact top, let's say you shorted here, you barely got an exit. Okay, so look, if you shorted here, they never give a shorts an exit, and that's just signs of buyers. They never give shorts an exit. Okay, now we're here. Like every short is probably waiting for this, and I still think it could come, but I'm not saying that it will come. Like I can't guarantee it, but they never give shorts an exit. Look, there's always buyers. Okay, so intraday, you could literally just buy this, and that's it. Just buy this, and have like a stop down here. Like this could be your like long intraday. All right, and like until this kind of like pattern thing stops playing out, right? Because look, it's like all the shorts never get an exit, all the shorts never get an exit, all the shorts never get an exit. It's because there's no Bitcoin on the exchanges anymore. Glassnode said that ever since we've been dropping, sorry, ever since March, the amount of Bitcoin on the exchanges is dropping every single day. There's a chart there. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Sorry, it's very very. It's something that you want to pay attention to. And like I said, every single day there's less and less sellers. And at the end of the day, yes, on BitMEX we get these like giant liquidations and all that, and but those only cause the wicks. Like there's no sellers on the spot markets to actually sell this kind of like sell Bitcoin. I don't know why people are uncertain about like the elections and all this kind of stuff. Um, Listen, whatever narrative you want to take, that's what the case is. I'm just trying to see this. Hold on a second, guys. what is this? I can't find it right now, but I'll find it. I'll find it later. But maybe if I just go to their Twitter, because for me, I think this is the most important chart in crypto right now. If I could find it, I forgot to upload it for this call. But as you can see over here, like they never, never, never give the shorts an exit. So I don't know why anybody would want to be short. Even if you're short at the top, you're 475. Yeah, that would have been a nice short, the $200. But like the risk reward to the upside is much greater, right? Because like look at these pumps, and like everybody that was short here. Okay,
Ach so,
so if
ich
you
habe
were
die
short,
Kiste einfach von meinem einen Wallet verloren. Da waren $2.000
if
drauf,
you were
aber
short
jetzt
in
sind
this
einfach keine
area,
Kiste drauf. Das ist ein anderer.
okay, or you shorted anywhere here, you're gone. You're gone. And okay, so let's say you shorted, let's say 10.7. Okay, you shorted 10.7. We're at 10.875, 10.9. It's not the end of the world for you. Your stop loss is probably 11K. Everybody's stop loss was probably 11K, maybe even 11.2. You know, for the swing traders. And you know these guys' stops are probably also 11.2. And even these guys here stops are probably 11.2. You know, so what happens? You got one, two, three, probably $50 million of shorts piling up here. 40 million actually we saw, and then they're all wrecked. And I guarantee I didn't watch this move live, but I can tell you that on this move live, I guarantee that the BIMX order book, which I mean BIMX is still the front market. The BIMX order book, I guarantee that the sell side, the bots, were just pulling their orders. Like it was probably like it was just dead. Like there was no one to buy the liquidations. I guarantee of it. And we can just see on this chart here that the liquidations added up to like $15 million alone on BitMEX. So that right there just tells you that there's a lot of people that were short, and that's what caused that up move. And like I said, it's been a while since we've seen this up move, and these kind of up moves. If it was a squeeze, okay, if this was just a squeeze, instead of also having buyers, we would have had like our scam wicks, but we didn't, right? Which in my opinion is very, very bullish. Okay, so make no mistake, like I'm not like I don't really read those shockwaves like the rest of the guys here. Sorry, but if you go on the high time frame, there's no doubt that this right here was a shockwave. I think that you would call it that, just to shake people out, trap the bears, and then boom, we just exploded. And that and that's where we are now. I'm still looking for this chart. I apologize. Fuck. I wish I kept it. I can't find it. But in any case, guys, it's bullish. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is what I said in admin thoughts. Okay, so in admin thoughts, I said that I missed a little bit of upside in the pump for Bitcoin because my thing automatically bought back at 11K, so I took a tiny little bit of a loss, but I only really lost very small amounts because the amount that I had sold to to spot to tether rather was to protect my altcoins, and luckily I did that because the amount of money that I have in altcoins, and luckily I did that because, as we all know, altcoins took an absolute beating for almost all this month, right? So, having said that, I was okay taking the loss, and me personally, like crypto and Bitcoin over like a long time period has been proven thus far in history that it's like it goes up over time. So me, I like to just protect myself on the downside, and I could always just, like I said, trade in USDT to make more USDT. And at the end of the day, I'm here to make money, and like it's an uptrending asset over time, and I just wanted to protect my downside rather than have some of my alts that I hold go minus 50% or whatever. Like even though they did, I had the tether to counterbalance that, and I was good to go. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna share this chart when I in margin chat when I see it. Okay, I'll share it in min thoughts when I find it. I don't want to take up too much more time looking for this, but make no mistake, guys, we are certainly bullish, and Can we bar it down? I hope so because I want to buy it. That's it, pretty much, But I'm not trading, hoping. I'm not shorting, hoping for a BART. As we see, every person here is shorted, hoping for a BART, and there ain't no BARTs coming. So let's try to buy dips and start buying altcoin dips as well. In my opinion, I think as Bitcoin consolidates up here, going to the stock open and going to this week, I think we're set to start buying major dips on alts. That's pretty much it for me. What's that?
Yeah, is Jake there yet? No. Okay, so let me just finish this real quick. Going. I am like. Do you have like crypto stuff? Then you can go. I just finished like the last chart. I had some trouble getting TradingView to run this morning, so but I'm good. So you can go first, and then I'll follow up.
And I found that chart that I was talking about. So when
Okay.
Chris is
Go
done,
ahead,
I'm going to upload it quick and talk about it, and then that'll be it.
Perfect.
Okay, hold on a sec. Let me bring it to the screen here. Let me have to save it because it's only a picture. I don't have it on Twitter. It's a picture, so let me just upload it here. Hold on. Where is it? Desktop. All right. Let me upload this thing. Okay, so let me just share it. So this is like this right here. Okay, it's only a picture, but it's not interactive. But look at it, right? Balance on all exchanges. Okay, so the balance on exchanges is going up, 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 up. Okay, the orange is the balance, and this is the price. The black is the price. And as soon as we had the March dump, it's like everybody sold the top here. Okay, it's it's just crazy. It seems like everybody sold the top, and look as we've been going back up in price, it's like people just keep buying and pulling it off, and they buy because you can see the uptrend here, right? But look, the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges is like this is just a death spiral for that, which I mean is bullish, right? You have no sellers.
Cody, do you remember that presentation that I did? Like I think that was the model from Wu's colleague. What's his name? I can't remember right now. But they
Megarov or something like that.
I can't remember his name right now. It's Hans Hodl on Twitter. Yeah, that's his name. I think he built that, and they built an indicator where you can observe like retail. They grouped like retail and whale wallets according to certain metrics, and they showed how different both groups behave in bears and bull markets, and they showed how retail tends to like buy the dip over and over again during a bear market, while during a bull market, whales, they start to buy. Like they don't necessarily buy the absolute bottom, like all at the absolute bottom, but on the way up, they will just keep buying. And then when the market flips again, they would like sell some at the top and then start to distribute early into the bear market. So that actually fits very, very much into that chart here, where there are big actors that are buying and they move stuff off the exchanges because this is not the time in the market cycle where they're interested in selling.
You know what I find interesting, and that's very, very that's crazy that you point that out. Look right here. Remember when we started talking about Corona? Remember we started talking about it before it hit like the US or whatever?
Yeah, basically January, yeah.
Look where the top was of this thing, like right before this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you could see like smart money, and listen, you can't say this whole line is just smart money. There's regular people too, but right here you can see, look, people. So look, we had the dump, and then right away, look, the spike back up here as people bought it. Like you can see the spike in line with this, they bought it, and ever since they bought whoever bought the bottom, let's say the general public, and just think about it, like to be able to bounce like we did up here during like Corona when there was nothing here, like you have to assume that it was spot buyers. There's no way it couldn't be, because even look at this. Look at this pump right here, and then slowly been there, and like everybody bought it, and they've been taking it off. And you know what they said? They probably said, "Listen, I bought under 10K. I bought under 8K. I'm not a crypto trader. I just bought this because like everybody told me that Bitcoin could go to 100K. Let me just put it in my cold storage or whatever the case may be." And here's an example. Like during like let's say we're at 7 8K, like around here almost. Okay, it's a pretty cool tool on Mac anyway, by the way. And I had this like financial advisor call me up, and he's like a bit of financial advisor for like we gotta say at least 15 years here. And he's like a family friend, and he said, "Hey, I want to buy some Bitcoin." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Well, the printing all this money. I think it's a good hedge against inflation. I'm gonna put not for his clients, but just for himself. I'm gonna put this much money in it. How do I do it?" And I said to him, "Well, the first things you got to do is you got to buy like a Trezor or a Ledger." And he said, "Okay, I'll do that." He got it. He ended up buying around like 8K, and he put it in on the Trezor Ledger, and he hasn't opened it again. And I imagine that during this whole area here, that there's people that ask their crypto friends, "Okay, I see Bitcoin super cheap. Like, what do you think about it? I keep hearing about this. Like there's the narrative for the inflation hedge. I want to buy some." And I'm pretty sure that if you asked anybody that's like a crypto veteran or someone's been in crypto longer than 1 year, let's say, they're telling their friends like, okay, like, because everybody in this group, we've seen all the hacks, right? But like a general person probably hasn't seen the hack, and we all know not your keys, not your coins. So someone were to ask me like if they're not going to trade, I'm telling them to put a ledger. I imagine I'm not the only one doing that, right? And they probably put it all in their cold storage, and it's just look at this, just been going down, 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 and it's crazy because look over here right before that pump. Like, look, we have like it has like a dead cat bounce. Like people are buying it again, and then down here they say, "Okay, time to take it off." It's like crazy. It's like crazy. It's just like nonstop. And as you see this, there's gonna be less and less sell pressure. I'm telling you guys. And first of all, no one's buying Bitcoin up here, like on the spot market. I don't think as much as they would here, over 11K. But just alone the fact that there's less sellers means it's much easier to squeeze shorts on the upside. And like in my opinion, this metric here, this chart is like the macro wise is like the most important chart for Bitcoin right now. Like not the alts, but just Bitcoin alone, and maybe the alts too, because there's less Bitcoin to buy alts. But I think majority of people playing alts right now, like I would have to look at the amount of USDT on exchanges. I think that's
I
significantly
agree.
gone up.
Yeah.
That's
Good call.
significantly gone up, and yeah. Plus we have the uni and all that kind of shit. So yeah, end of the day, like me, just Bitcoin wise, still one's going to talk about the alts, but just Bitcoin wise, like this is very bullish for Bitcoin as a whole.
Okay, Chris, you or me? Okay. That's a nice position because I'll start with BTC and move to alts, and then you can take over. Okay, you guys can see my stream. You can see the nice red dot that everybody likes. I'm going to follow up on a couple of things that I presented this last week and the week before. Still keeping an eye on difficulty, which has like not been moving anymore. It's just sitting like around flat. So it's not been very eventful. It seems that huge increase here in difficulty has been sufficient to like get to a good equilibrium where hash power wants to stay as it is. Now, this has been a very important part of my analysis over the past 2 weeks. As I've been pointing out, all the price action we had happened in fear. And I found that very significant because I found that what's been happening price action wise, both in terms of Bitcoin, and I mean, like at a certain point, like obviously alts were very, very rough, but then the fear just stayed while we already had the correction, right? The correction happened, everything was down like 60 to 90%. So everybody still being fearful seemed a little bit seemed like a tell. Now we went back to greed again. Relatively quickly, we broke out of this consolidation right here, but this is also where I see like there's like an overhead resistance in emotion. So I would like to see that line break for further emotional upside. But I think it's significant that we held that kind of like support, or as I called it in the past, volume node. Like we spent a lot of time in this emotion in this market, at least since February 2018. Again, I would love all the data from the bull market. We don't have that, but what we did now does make sense in a bull market context. Like in the bear market, you would obviously spend more time in fear and anger and in depression phases. It would make sense for bull market to play more in this range with like spikes to the downside. So I'm curious to see how this develops. And then like for the next cycle, we'll have bull market data. Yeah, the BTC USD weekly indicators, we've been covering these for a long while. I actually just realized that I cut this off too far. Like I'm not far enough on the left here, but if you remember, there was like the bull cross and all of that happening 2015. And last week again, when everything was unsure, I pointed out how we were like fractally mimicking not only this, but also this. Like this was like a price action that occurred back then as well, that led to a breakout eventually, which we saw now. The oscillators held this was already 2 to 3 weeks back, 3 weeks back, I think. This was last week, and I said like it looks like we're holding in that bull market oscillation range. I predicted, or at least saw that was like a good chance for the next bull cross on the stochastic RSI to happen, and it occurred. And the OBV held the support level so far. We're still in oversold region on the weekly on BTC, which is a good basis for some more favorable price action. And as you can see, even this one, the MACD is trying to cross bullish again. While it like came out of a potential bear cross right here, it might oscillate. It's very, very compressed right now. We also did some naked candlestick TA on the quarterly close, and I said like the week before last one, I said I would want this to close as high as possible to not get that like perfect inverted hammer close. We did that, and I said if we get a high one, I'm feeling good about more upside. And so far, the price action in this new quarter has been nice. BLX, the Brave New Coin Index with the longest price history on the logarithmic chart with the log growth curve. This is where we have been observing this for a while too, of course, and especially recently I pointed out that we had great confluence with those EMAs. This is like the 21 EMA on the weekly, and this is the 144, which is important here on the daily. Like when we got that, that was actually where like shortly after I loaded up. No, I loaded up on this one on my long on this retrace right here, because this both of those, all that confluence with like the weekly analysis on the indicators gave me a good feeling of like taking some risk. And now obviously this is like the final boss right here, the log growth curve from the downside. If we break it, we usually get more volatile and more high velocity moves. So if that breaks, like I set an alert, we got to be ready for some potentially pretty strong BTC action, which obviously could hurt altcoins. The same thing could happen if we get rejected here. That wouldn't be good. and this would also obviously hurt altcoins both in BTC and USD pairings most likely. So we got to keep an eye on this. The longer we like consolidate below here, the better this would be for some short to midterm altcoin price action. DXY weekly retraced the full move over the course of 2 weeks. I'm curious where we close today. This could still end up being a retest, like, perfect. This is like kind of an order block right here. So I'm curious how this closes. Obviously, I'd say if we drop below these like open levels on these candles, that would be very, very bullish for all risk assets that are priced in USD. Currently, this is basically one of the factors that led into the the nice repricing we saw on equities and gold and Bitcoin. FUSD last week, I said how this is already the 3-day. Wait a sec. Oh, I'm missing a chart here actually. So I wanted to start with the daily, but it's not here. And yes, last week I pointed out how I had a very, very hard time reading the daily, and it just looked like messy price action, which is why I looked to the 3-day and found that divergence and the nice kind of like head and shoulders style thing here on the RSI, and also the rounding of that MACD. And I said that actually looks good. So that was another point of confluence that fed into our bullish bias last week, and we had that very, very nice oscillation with the bullish divergence on the stochastic RSI. So all this recap is basically to ingrain that in you guys' minds, all these techniques that can give you a nice fat layer of confluence when you're looking at this price action, and figure out your bias and why last week I found mine and it lined up with all the other admins. So that's, to me, that's always like a point of confluence in of itself. Obviously, you don't want to be in the crowd, but if traders that you respect and they all come to similar conclusions with different techniques, that's also something you've got to take note of. Market cap, 1 hour and 1 day. So I very, very rarely zoom into the 1 day on the total market cap chart. Usually it's kind of the price action on the daily oftentimes looks like very very, very wicky, if that's a word. And it's different reading that than other charts. Now I zoomed into this because I noticed that we might be breaking structure here, and on the daily this looks like this, and I wanted to see what kind of flag is forming here. And this actually looks like it could be a bull flag that's breaking up to the upside, which to me is a sign that we could see further continuation. Again, that's the daily. And something I want to point out, and this is more pronounced. Let me see. Yeah, this is still more pronounced on the altcoin market cap than on the total market cap, because altcoins had, despite the retraces, they still had a very, very good year and outperformed Bitcoin. But you can see how this is the area we have been rejected in June 2019, and now all this price action is happening here in that zone that got rejected so stiffly. So we had 2 tries this time, not as stiff. Obviously, this was like a very, very hard rejection. Now we're bouncing back. Now we got to figure out, is this going to be complacency shoulder, or are we going for like another test? And I still think that we could see at least like a test of this diagonal angle right here. And currently we are breaking to the upside, and we're going to see if this ends up being like a very stiff bear flag, or if we can see like some dollar action and another stab at that 390 billion. Now, alts market cap, in my opinion, currently looks structurally a bit weaker than the total market cap, because Bitcoin is starting to take the stage. This is like one sign that I think we can take note of, that this is currently on the lower time frame the stronger pairing. Still, this looks good, kind of a bull flag breakout as well. Watching this right now, it's being held up here on the 1 hour by that ribbon. And this is the alt market cap on the macro. And here you can see how this was the rejection in June, and we absolutely surpassed that and are even currently like almost above the top there. So I don't really see the point of like if you go on Twitter, you can still see a lot of bearish calls that like say Corona, macroeconomics, yada yada yada, will going down to 3K again. To me, this looks like a very, very strong uptrend right now, and even on the macro, the alts market cap took out that very, very significant high, and is basically ready for this new trend. And you can see how even like the macro angles that I did with the GAN fans, although they're not testing perfectly, you can see that there's definitely like significant reactions happening around this. So we're still in this very strong upwards angle so far. And as I said in the past, if we lose this bearish retested, that I could see us go down back here even. But currently that's not the case yet. BTC dominance 1 week. I mentioned a couple of days ago that if this closes as another inverted hammer, that I could see more downside. I entertained the notion that we could get like a bearish retest that even leads up to here in the 64s, or even up there. But for that to happen, we would need some like serious BTC action. I'm not convinced that we're ready for that yet. I'll be watching the close though, and in my opinion here, I went down to the 1 day. This could still end up, this could like go higher, but still end up being a bear flag forming on BTC dominance. If we break that 200 EMA, I think we could see more upside to here. But currently we have that former strongest bounce area that we had here since we started following this Adam and Eve style top. And here on the bearish retest of this, I think it's still a very strong area, just flipped sides. Wi-Fi, this is not bullish yet. We just had a bottom and now we had a new high, and we will have to see if this is going to make a higher low now or not. What did stand out to me was the very, very large volume on this capitulation. There was a lot of FUD around Andre to the developer. Like people were running around Twitter spreading rumors that he is like in depression and quit, stuff like that. It was very, very obvious to me that that was engineered. But you also have a lot of drama around this Blue Kirby character, of course. So sentiment-wise, if you assume that Wi-Fi is not dead and gone, then this is a good sentiment and good capitulation volume for a bottom, in my opinion. And yields obviously are drying up because yields are these incentivized liquidity incentivizing, growth hacking, bootstrapping farms where you earn a governance token that is presumably worthless for farming. They all require the greater fool, and as the market cools off, those greater fools that buy your bag, they are getting more rare. So the yield dries up, and that's something that YFI suffers from, because YFI is a yield aggregator, right? It's a smart yield farm. But he's building other products, so I still think that YFI could be a strong play going forward. And I could see us printing the next higher low soon. RSR USDT, I shared this last week, my beautiful red box. And the rejection, sorry, the rejection, I have a sip of coffee. Rejection of the 200 EMA. Well, the perfect fill came like to the cent. I didn't buy it. I don't know why. I didn't pay attention. We even had like a nice divergence. Last week, I also pointed out how this, like, all that decline, and then this MACD looked so ready to break back up. And it did. Well, we're still not above the 200 EMA, and I think that the safer entry, like this was a great snipe, right? Like if you did that, it was just a good RR setup to take it, and then you can set a stop loss, or then you get the bounce. You can even stop loss break even or very close to it. So it would have been prudent or wise to take that. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe somebody did, and I shared the box and the chart last week. So props to you. But I still think that the safer buy would be on a break and flip of the 200 EMA, because some altcoins did that they retraced to the EMA and broke it, and as a sign of strength, you could have like a trigger condition like that where you say, okay, as soon as it gets above and flips that's when I'm playing altcoins again. As BTC, luckily I was able to see Akato's tweet like right when he pointed that out, and when the Ask people mentioned the MetaMask news in their Discord. So we were actually able like to snipe some here. I don't think many members got it. I actually loaded up more here. We had this entry, sold some here. I held through, like I got very, very close to my stop loss, but it never came. Like it was somewhere around here, pretty crazy. And I bought more here. And now I'm thinking that this could end up being like a bull flag and just continue upwards, because there is some support here in the lower time frame. But AST so far has this habit of doing these impulsive moves here in the do I have like, oh damn, the 1 day is missing here too. So on the 1 day, there's actually, you have these impulsive moves and always retraces the whole way. So I think for this to break up again earlier, they need to follow up with more official news. They mentioned how MetaMask was slow on releasing their news, but yeah, if that happens, we can get an early breakout. If not, have orders ready here in this area, I'd say, just above the 1150. I think it's very, very possible that it retraces this inefficiency right here, fills that gap, tests an EMA here on the 1 hour 200 EMA. I think that would be a great play, because this news is super bullish. Like if they're like the back end for the MetaMask, like their protocol's the back end for the MetaMask integrated swap, then a lot of people, like almost everybody in DeFi uses MetaMask. And if that works well, there's volume there, why would people still go to Uniswap? Also, Akato makes the good point that Uniswap was also like kind of a first phase, very, very degen. It's starting to get associated with rock pulls and gambling. So more conservative people and people that are not that, not that deep into DeFi and crypto to be like on this degen gambler mode, they might prefer something that is working differently. And AST obviously has like features that are also could prevent like the rock pulling and the front running in particular. So yeah, I like AST. I think it's a good play for the coming months. Link USDT, what's that? Let me just check what I did there. Oh yeah, I wasn't so sure where we would be going with this when we were, I think, here last week. No, I think here. So we got a drop and then like a very, very strong rebounds with the market. And now you can see how I made these channels, which can be a little bit confusing at first, but these are basically like escalation stages of angles of bullishness, right? Like the green one is the more steady growth, then the escalation into the orange, and then like going parabolic with like angles that are more steep. And we actually we got held up pretty nicely in the green area, and now we went back to a higher stage of escalation. And if we zoom in, this level actually acts as support. It's the one that acted as resistance before, right here. So to me, Link actually looks pretty good right now. And DeFi perps, why am I missing all these charts? Something went wrong today. Sorry, guys. So I have like a daily here too. Let me just stop my stream 1 second. I gotta check out where they are. Uh-huh. Okay, I can fix that. Yeah. Streaming again. Sorry for that, guys. Can you see my screen again? No. Now you can, right? Yeah, so what we got here on DeFi last week, again, I wasn't really sure what's happening. And now, this is today, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days ago, we made a bottom on this fib level. And it's actually so perfect. And it's happening on divergence, 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 and even divergence here on Chris's indicator, although it's still saying bearish. It at least like made like 2 steps into the same region. I could see this flip eventually. I think that this might be like there is a good chance that this is a bottom here on the DeFi perp, and people have been like calling for the end of this and like the pop bubble very very vocally, and I don't agree. Um, I think that even if BTC takes over, like takes the stage for a while, I think there are certain DeFi assets that will continue to perform, and at least in USD terms, I don't think they will suffer too hard, or at least not for a very prolonged time. Exactly. Yeah, we're not at that stage yet. We're not at that stage yet where Bitcoin breaks all-time high and then goes absolutely crazy, in my opinion. Exactly. This is zoomed in, and you can see how perfect that fib level test is. And it's not a 0, a 1. So it's not a quote unquote natural, like, no, it's not a level that's like on the chart in the first place. Basically, it's a very 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 artificial fib, which you can check out in the fib video, the introduction that I did. The 0.786 actually is a pretty complicated calculation to get there. And I know I owe you guys the second vid that will cover how to draw these. I'll try to finish that today so I can upload it with you so you can do this yourself. But these are also levels that I gave you last week. So yeah, obviously we had that test here too. So it's definitely always been there. It's like basically this chart was supposed to do that, because if we could go from the 1 to the 0 here, or you can inverse that too, then we get this level. So basically you can see it both ways. Like this is a very very natural retrace, a natural step on the way up, and this is also a very very natural extension and top for the price action happening previously. And that's it for me. If any of that was like too quick, I'm happy to ask questions later, right? Feel free, guys, after Chris is done with his presentation. Zavi sends his regards. He's in his other condo today to talk to a potential tenant. But he gave you his like watch list and a couple plays and equities, and he's going to follow up on that also soon. So yeah, he's like hiking, right, with the family. Ah, very nice. The photos look nice on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. I want to support this message about privacy coins. Absolutely. Yeah. We get like the Xano moon later in the cycle. We're also pretty quick, like with the call today, because of Jason Zavi's absence. So if you want like some assets, some stocks, some alts that we should take a look at, we can also cover that. Or if you have charts that you would like to discuss,
Jay's typing.
always welcome. Ah, Jay, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's Canadian Thanksgiving.
Is it that time again? Wow. Damn. 2020 almost over.
Hey guys.
That's Jake.
Hey, what's up? Sorry I missed it.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm at the. Oh yeah, went well. Okay. Now I'm at this cabin in New Hampshire right now, and having like family breakfast and shit. So hopped away for a second. You guys covered everything. What was the consensus? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you can see like all markets kind of got really it's like they tried to hammer it with bad news. Kind of like it's like classic fear cycle type shit where you have no stimulus, the trust busters coming after big tech, Arthur for BTC. I know people are scared of Mount Gox seller hearing this week, dumping more Bitcoin. What else news wise? I feel like there was even more, to be honest. And Trump having COVID.
like
Trump having COVID, that was a big one.
Yeah, and like for the altcoins, you also had like all the fodder around YFI as like the DeFi flagship. Like so much
Oh yeah,
FUD and anger.
Kirby and yeah,
Kirby, exactly. And they, I mentioned how people were running around a couple days ago trying to spread the rumor that the main dev was like had depression and left the project and stuff like that. Which was bullshit, obviously, but they tried.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is pretty much remains the same as earlier in the week. Hopefully, when I pinged you guys, this was like a few days back, where it was like basically like start to take risk on alts here. Just everything in general. It's like kind of enter all crypto markets type season, and we've been like we've been here before. I mean, if you've been trading, like there are different times, but normally you're able to pull out like great swing trades if this is the moment. And I'm curious. I know you guys probably covered it, but really quick, Stillman, what was your take? Did you cover BTC dominance? Like, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, so let me can you watch stream, or are you like on mobile?
Yeah, I can.
You can.
I'm on mobile, but I can check it out.
Okay. Let me just go to BTC dominance real quick. There it is. Going live.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, last week, over the course of this week, I said if we get like another inverted hammer or doji style candle like this with a huge rejection, I'd said that would be enough for me to assume that we might be like this, that this bear flag is done basically, and we change direction again. I'm curious if where we close, like if we close below my level here, that will give me even more confidence that we would get like immediate continuance on alts. I also mentioned how this former strongest bounce area is still a super strong area for me. And like it just flipped sides now, so the rejection here makes sense to me. if we get like a stronger close in the weekly, I could see us like continue the bear flag a bit higher.
It could do
into its,
another
like,
one of these.
Yeah, and into like the 60, 63 area maybe, or the top of the box. But 63 more likely. I doubt that this is the time where we
that blue line is possible.
Yes, also, yeah, I mentioned it also on the call. Like that would be like, but that would be like the most extreme. Because I think it's not the time for us to test the top of this channel yet.
Agreed.
I think like BTC is going to be like super bullish, or we would have like a market-wide giant crash to see that again. And this is the daily, and this also looks like a bear flag to me. And which, I mean, now that I look at it again, I think we could go higher, because this has been like a very, very steep downtrend. So as you said, like this is possible.
60, yeah. Low
But this will be
60s.
max pain. Like if we do this, if we go up here, then outs will lose a lot. That'll be very, 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 very bad. So you need to have like some stops in place.
What about if just BTC pumps? It's just like more money is going into BTC and outpacing the money going into alts. Like you may lose some BTC value, but like if you're on the USD side of things, like it could still be a good trade.
Yeah, that's something I mentioned too. That I doubt altcoins would lose much in USD terms. Yeah, I agree.
They might stop run the lows put in earlier this week, and then on BTC side. So like a lot of the structures that I'm seeing, like it looks pretty good to continue to play. One that I was looking at this morning, actually, I don't remember who asked me about it, but I think we should keep an eye on this one, is DIA. I don't even know what that is. It was just on my watch list because someone in the group
that's a recent pre-sale. It's an Oracle, like a Link competitor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at the daily chart, you could pull that up. Yeah, it's doing good right now. I wouldn't buy it this second, but this looks like this wants to pump more to me. Like you could see it go to like at least 2,000 sets. Yeah, like 1,800 maybe. It just looks like it wants to reverse a bit.
Is this like BTC or USDT pairing right now?
On BTC side, BTC pairing.
I always looked at it in USD terms, I think, so far. I guess the oldest chart is Qcoin. In Binance.
Oh, okay. I was looking at it on Binance.
Yeah, the Binance listing is more recent, I think. I'll just share like the naked chart real quick in Dojo Call charts.
Like 80% or something, 70%.
This was one of like the first bonding curve sales. Bitmonk actually had a great play on that. He bought it like at like around $1, just below, and had a very nice pump on it. So if we want a full price action, I'll pull up the one on ChartX for like, because it has been on Uniswap since forever, and that will give you a good idea of where we are. Where we are. I'm posting that in Dojo Call charts as well.
This could potentially be reversing here. If it
yes,
is.
It's here. Look at that. Look at where it bounced. Yeah. Basically, it retraced the full inefficiency of the move to the left, full up move, and bounced off of the bases it made after listing. And I think the bonding curve sale is over. Yeah, that's UCT now on the ChartX chart. In Dojo
it's
Call
starting
charts.
To make like kind of a Yosh type thing going on there.
I'll ping you here, Chris.
Yeah, the next candle could be very significant on this. Like the next couple.
It's one of the coins that that Charles is the most bullish on in terms of FA.
Oh really?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta run, guys. Sorry.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah.
Bye. So yeah, that was nice. Like getting the eyes on Dia. I think that's worth keeping an eye on. And it's absolutely wrecked, which I like.
Yeah, agreed.
That being said, I don't think that Oracle's like the Oracle narrative basically did its course with the linked all-time high, in my opinion. So I personally find the privacy coin narrative more interesting at the moment, and also the basically the DeFi Uniswap competitor successor narrative that will come up with like AST and the MetaMask integration with stuff like Diversify. I'm looking at. I don't know who will be able to take the cake, but I think that it also depends on when the Uniswap version 3 comes and what that does. Like if they have layer 2s in there, if they had like privacy front running protection in the mempool, stuff like that, which could come with a good layer 2. But I think that there is some alpha there to take. Like AST, I'm very bullish on. Diversify, I still haven't given up on, although like, well, I mean, given up on, I mean, it's like still 2 to 3x from where I bought the first bag, I think. But yeah. Yeah, we can take a look at that. I'll just throw some fibs on this quickly. Actually, some of the members like Junk Food or Maddox might already have a very good chart for that. SNX, Maddox. I'm putting it in Dojo call charts again. I just threw very, very basic fib on there, which nonetheless gives great levels, as you can see. So it actually looks very, very similar to the DeFi perp chart, right? With that, is that the 7.8 again? Yeah, the 7.8 retracement, which is not like the typical like golden pocket one. Is this like reversed actually? This is interesting. Did I hit reverse? And this looks like it did. No, it didn't. Okay. Yeah. Good. So yeah, that's not considered a golden pocket retrace. It's actually overshooting that by a bit. But yeah, I think until $3.56 breaks, that's like a level you can try to buy. And obviously, if we manage to flip the 0.618 fib here, which coincides with the ribbon on the daily that is compressing right now, the flip of that, I would also consider buying. What do you guys think? Yes. But still, if you guys remember that chart that I shared, which was DeFi versus privacy coins. Let me just bring that up real quick again. Give me a sec. Where's that? Fuck. He's a traitor. There, I think there it is. Or isn't? Yep. Sorry, that took a while. Okay, so here, this is not like versus USD or BTC, but this is positioning the privacy index, privacy coin index on FTX with the DeFi coin index on FTX. And as you can see, since September 14, which was like around, you can see we have like kind of a double bottom here on this pairing. Since then, which was like around the DeFi top, I think like this beginning of September was DeFi top. We have a very, very strong uptrend starting here on the privacy coins versus the DeFi coins. So you got to ask yourself, I mean, obviously SNX, one of the blue chips, and it's great innovation, yada yada. But why not long the stronger asset, like sub asset class here? So I still like, if you missed that, if you got into the call late, check out Chris's section. Chris and I, we've been covering like privacy coins for a while now. I think you should at least consider, like, if you're playing leverage trades, etc., and you're looking for what to long, where to long. Like, for example, Bitmong yesterday, he sent me a DM and was talking about Uni. Like, he missed one entry and was looking at it again. Now I just asked him, okay, okay, Uni can do something, like if the right news comes, but why are you not longing XMR instead? Look at that chart, right? Sometimes you get tunnel visioned on the stuff that everybody talks about, and not many people are talking about privacy coins right now, but this is like a significant trend right here that is not lining up with like the public perception and where where all the attention is going right now. So yeah, that's exactly. Like, and what did Uni do? So yeah, I think that especially if you're like, regularly playing margin, then you want to hop on the strongest trends and buy long the retraces on that. And it doesn't matter if like what Monero does in half a year. So yeah, but like regarding SNX, I hope that answers the question. Something else while we have time? Otherwise, I haven't looked at that one in a while, actually, which might be good. It might be like on an earlier cycle. Oh, interesting.
I think Band only moves with Sushi, no? They move together.
Band works with Sushi? Not that I'm aware of. Yeah,
because like wasn't the Sushi Chef the CTO of Band? So I think like since then.
Was he? Has he been like really?
Yeah,
has he been doxxed?
Yeah, so it was like when the FUD first came out, it was like the easiest short, and since then I think they're like kind of similar.
Okay, so Band actually had this chart ready for a while. I just had to extend the fibs because I've been looking at it for some time. What I really like here, like I wouldn't buy this if you're not in. I wouldn't buy this exactly, like, you're buying resistance, we buy it here. I put this in general right now, but I also posted in where is it? Dojo code charts. So we have everything there for the people listening to the recording. So what I really like about this one is that it successfully tested the 200 EMA and bounced off of that. It could test it again, but this is a good sign. And in a bull market, I view this as like a mean retrace. It retraced the overextension, hits the 200 EMA again, and the fact that it didn't drop below could mean that it's one of the more bullish alts, because some of them drop below the 200 EMA on the daily. And why that's significant? This is actually, oh yeah, okay. Band's history is a little bit too short for this. So the 200 EMA, because it is like has a look back, it doesn't really start until the start of its big pump. But on coins with more history, that was also something that I've been watching at the beginning of the year, when we were starting to buy altcoins again. That was the interactions with the 200 EMA, while all the coins were below it, and then started to break above it and flip it. So I really advocate for having that as part of your system when you're looking at macro. Yeah, I like it, but I don't like an entry here exactly at this fib resistance. It could still be bearish retest. It could still fall below the 200 EMA. I think if it gets rejected here, I would buy the 200 EMA again, and maybe have like a stop below that next fib, the 2.618. Or if we break above it here into the ribbon, then see take an entry on the flip of the 3.618 and see if that can hold. If you want to be more aggressive, similar to what Chris mentioned on SNX, you also don't have to wait on the 200 EMA. You could also see if now that's not part of this chart, but you can see with your bare eyes that there is some support here around 5.80, I'd say. Yeah, $5.80. Which would also retrace this long daily candle that it took to get to the current resistance. Would you guys agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just looking at SNX on the BTC pairing side, it looks like there's more downside, like a little bit more to me.
SNX, I could see that. I mean, that would also make sense. BTC staying bullish, BTC pairing
like on the
retracing a bit.
USD pairings are better than BTC pairings.
Yeah, the same is true for RSR too, by the way. While it did fill that box that I have to the cent on the USDT pairing, my BTC pairing box is lower and it still hasn't been filled. So that would there's good confluence there.
Yeah. So if you look at here, I'll give you an example. Comparing SNX to Dusk, for instance, Dusk I find looks better because you see how it puts in like a low around here, basically like 370 earlier in the month or at September. Then it does the backbreaker that goes lower, right? Now you're starting to consolidate at that support on the daily. It could break above this and then shoot up quickly. While when you look at SNX, you have that kind of like, oh, this is the bottom, so everybody's stop is below that. That's on the weekly, actually, that chart. Here, let me give you the daily. But
Jay, could you post these in Dojo Core Charts channel so people listening to the recording can find them again?
Yes. Good call. All right, so here's SNX daily. So everybody's stops are below those two wick lows there. And if you look at Dusk had a very similar, and it's not just Dusk. I mean, this is more of like just from looking at charts over the years and just kind of having a sense for it. I think this Dusk did what I think SNX is about to do. So that's why personally I would prefer to play something like Dusk here, because it already took those stops and then created like kind of a base structure, and now it's banging against those two wick lows, which were support. Now it's kind of resistance, but I don't think it is. Like, I think it breaks through and then pumps. But SNX, I think, still has time to do that move. And if you look at the daily, like it's in a bull flag, but while it was a bear flag, that's kind of manifesting itself like to break down, take out those lows and then go to like, I would say below 3,000. Below 3,000, you get a wick down there or something, or you get a couple dailies where it gets its feet under itself, kind of like Dusk shows. Then I would feel better playing that. And the reason why I asked Bob why SNX. I wasn't sure if there was like some fundamental reason or some reason why he wanted that coin, but he was just looking at TA wise. But with BTC definitely threatening on being very bullish, I would only play the alt charts that on BTC pairings are looking like they bottomed, as opposed to stuff that looks like it could go a bit lower. Not that you not that you can't play alts. I mean, like, I don't want to confuse anybody. I did say play alts, and I believe in that. I think, ultimately the entries that you get on alts in the past week, this period here, will end up being good plays. But if you can avoid being underwater by 10% or whatever, freaking out and getting stopped out at a loss and then it reverses, then that's better. That's what I'm seeing there. And I just wanted to hop back on to say, like, I really do think H bar is going to reverse soon. And I think if it pumps, it's going to be fucking wild. It'll be a wild pump. This is a super long flag. I put it in alt trades, but this is capitulation. Now it's in the beginning of its bear market cycle, so you could see one more move back down, but this is going to reverse pretty soon, I think, like in the next week or two. So I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on that as well. Yeah, H bar BTC.
I like that line a lot, because that's basically the last gap on that chart, right?
Yep.
And more often than not, these gaps fill.
I think it's good. I think, like, if you have like your big buy around like 250 area, that's like a great catch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all had that play, so I'm not certain it's going to happen.
Yeah.
No,
true.
to be honest, I think I was looking at that area too. That's why I put the line there and the little circle. But it doesn't always have to happen. And just looking at the structure of what it's doing, I mean, you have your top, you have your crash cycle, you have your capitulation. Now it can do like a longer bull flag back down to the low. At the end, you might get a wick down to that 250. It could happen. It definitely could happen. But there's also a chance that it doesn't, and that it just takes off from here.
Yeah, I mean, what we, your chart cuts off there on the left, but what we already swept like a former low, right?
Yes.
Right here. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can see that too. But in regards of we're all looking at this, I think that the amount of market participants that has this, the necessary imagination required, or has learned that these like inefficient candles like to retrace fully, it's the minority. Like, most people can't even fathom the fact that these things retrace all the way back. Most people think,
Right.
oh, no,
Right.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
like it did
It
kind
could.
of bounce off of the small flag structure on the left on the way down. So, interesting.
We'll see if
I think
290
we will
holds.
see it.
If
I think we
290
will see
holds, I
it.
don't think you're going to see it.
Yeah, like two, yeah, or if
You have a
like
couple of moving averages there.
290. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
On the DMAs, you got the lower time frame moving averages. They don't have to hold, but if this what it's doing right now in the lower time frames, like ends up holding, so yeah, like 290, if it stays above like that, or I would say, 290. If it stays above 290, I think that's it. I think it's gonna go for another leg and then start to really reclaim, and then there'll be dips. You'll get a chance to get in. You don't have to like buy it this second, but it could shoot up. It could shoot up pretty quickly, I think. And then you're like, what do I do? What do I do? Like if it goes to like 350, then you want to buy the first retrace that you get. But just from like a timing, if you look at how long this has been going on, this is in a flag basically since February. And
Yeah,
it broke down.
I'm just looking at the indicators, and there is something interesting going on here. I think. Let me just post that real quick. I'll post it below your tweet and alt trades.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I think it's gonna, but it's interesting because looking at the daily, it's moving like more. The reason why I'm putting more urgency is it's not doing like the slow bleed down. It's like a little more volatile and it's moving more steeply, so it might happen quicker. It's tough. I just think between 250 and 300, just buy it there. You don't need to buy all of it, but this is going to come out of it pretty soon, I think.
So just bear with me for a couple more seconds to do this one drawing on the chart and not. So this is quick and dirty, but we have on the daily, we already have divergences here on like it's not super long divergence, but while the price has been going down just before this break upwards, we had like strong divergences on everything. And what I also find significant is that what I like when doing like trend prediction or like trend front running kind of things is we're still in a downtrend on price, but the OBV, like the second to the last to the bottom, the indicator, the OBV already took out that high and made like a higher high now, while price didn't yet. So occasionally that can also indicate that a trend change in price is incoming as well, because a trend change in this derivative of volume and price already happened, and volume precedes price, as we know.
Yeah, the volume's starting to break out.
Yeah, it's still kind of shit, right? The volume, but there is something happening on the volume side, and it's favoring the buying right now.
Yes, yeah. Like you can't see it when you zoom out, but it's like you could see like something's going on. Something's going on there on the daily. So keep an eye
on the 4 hour. You have like some bigger buys that all end up being like inverted hammer candles, where you get like a long wick. That's oftentimes a sign of accumulation. Like some big buys come in, they get sold off, so and then price continues to go sideways until they do the next big buy.
Yeah, I like this one. All right, I'm gonna go back. I'm getting yelled at. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Jay. Bye.
All right. See you guys. It's been an hour and a half here.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye-bye.